This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/psychetruth.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to be doing a massage for whiplash, and I'm going to be working on a few things that you might not expect. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to grab my oil. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and apply some oil. I'm going to start with the arms. And always when I am starting a massage, I like to go in slowly. I don't like to rush or, make my client feel uncomfortable. So I try to just kind of start with a smooth rhythm right from the start. And just getting this oil on first. And don't forget about the hands. So whenever you're using upward strokes, you can kind of start to shove the shoulder up towards the ear. So just as you're going up, you want to apply less pressure unless you're holding the arm, and then you can kind of, do things a little different. But there's all kinds of just subtle ways that you can make your client's massage experience more enjoyable. All right, guys, so I'm just going to make sure that there is plenty of oil on this arm. So on my way up, I'm just making sure that I'm applying less pressure than when I go down, so that I'm not forcing the shoulder up, because I really want the shoulder to move down, especially with whiplash. And just making sure that there's oil on the hand and anywhere that I'm going to be working. I like to end with just a little pull down to encourage that shoulder down. So just a really light touch on my way up, and then a little bit more on my way down. But I'm not really focusing on the massage part just yet. We're just getting everything ready. And as I work my way into the warming up the pectorals, I like to keep my hand on my client just to keep everything a little more connected. And before I start, I like to just visually kind of check in and see how things might look different from right to left, kind of get some cues. And I'm going to start working my way into the origins a little bit. And it's really difficult to do deep tissue with this technique. So right now, especially Tyler's a more muscular male, which is a more difficult type of client to really do successful deep tissue on. So I'm kind of just thinking of what techniques I can use and not overexert myself and give him a really good massage. So right now I'm just warming everything up. And even if someone comes in and has a lot of experience with deep tissue, I spend just as much time on connective tissue and soft tissue because it's really healing. And just making sure that I have oil everywhere that I need it before I start with the arm work. And just encouraging these shoulders before I start to work my way into the arms. I like to just walk my hands and really encourage these shoulders to relax. Sometimes when you're suffering from whiplash, your whole front side, your whole front body, and your arms can seize up, and it really pulls on your neck. So I'm going to be spending plenty of time on the arms and the forearms. And I'm going to go ahead and circle my way back to this arm. And I'm going to start with the actual massage. So I'm going to go ahead and angle this arm, and I'm going to leverage Tyler's arm with my right hand, just making sure that his shoulder doesn't creep up by his ear. And whenever in doubt, if you as the body worker are feeling fatigued or pain in your back, you need to widen your stance as you're working. So I'm just starting to use the heel of my hand, and I'm working my way up around the shoulder joint. And you can even go in with your forearm, start to do a little bit of deep tissue. And I'm actually going to warm up these muscles a little bit more. So I'm just going to start bringing the heels of my hands away from each other, working my way around the arm. When I went in with my forearm, I could feel that things were not quite ready for that. So I'm just warming everything up a little bit more. And if you're struggling with getting like a good angle, you can always just bring that elbow out a little more. And I'm going to go ahead and go in with my forearm a little bit. And just encouraging that shoulder to relax down. I don't typically use my forearm on the arms, but it can be kind of fun sometimes. And I'm going to focus a lot more on the forearm. So whenever somebody has whiplash, they're usually gripping really tight with their hands, which can make the extensor muscles really tight. And so I'm just going in with the heel of my hand and working my way up. And the whole time, I'm just holding to make sure that the arm doesn't start to creep up. And you can also use this technique on the forearm. I don't find that it's quite as satisfying as on the upper portion of the arm, but you can get right onto the belly of these muscles and really stretch everything out in a really nice way. And so you might not think of it, but if somebody has whiplash, this is a really important area to consider. And I'm going to start going a little bit deeper, and I'm going to start to hold. I'm going to do a little bit of trigger point in here. Just using a little bit more pressure as I work my way up. And again, like if I were doing an hour or an hour and a half massage, I probably wouldn't go in with my thumbs, but just to show you, you can do some really good trigger point in here with your thumb. So it helps if you angle the wrist a little bit. You get a better sense of what's going on in that extensor muscle. So and I know that there's going to be some therapists out there who are saying that my thumb's not in the right position, so it's not ideal, but I'm not feeling any pain, so I'm going to go with it. But usually you want your thumb completely straight and a little bit bent. And not doing a whole lot with my thumb here, just a little bit of trigger point. And just a nice way to, end the work on the arm is just a little bit of hand work. So I'm just walking my fingers. Can't really see it, but just alternating each hand and walking my way across the palm. So it's really nice too because it's just relaxing. After that deeper work, it can be nice to do something that just feels nice. And I'm just gonna grab hold and go ahead and drag my thumb down, giving just a little bit of extra release into those extensors in the forearm. And just pulling a little bit. Not spending a whole lot of time on the hand. I'm going to go ahead and open up Tyler's arm, and I'm going to work on this front side of the arm a little bit. Working my way into that shoulder, those attachments. And I'm going to go in. This is one of my favorite ways to work the pectoral muscles on a muscular male. So I would never do this with a female for obvious reasons, but this is just a really nice way to get into the origins of the pectorals. So I'm just starting at the origin and I'm working my way out. And this can be really intense. So just checking in, making sure was that too much? And just working my way up towards the clavicle, my way down. So most of my attention is right towards the sternum as I work my way out. And if I find a spot that feels extra tight, I might just hold it. So if I were to try and do this level of deep tissue with my fingers, it would be like really hard, but this honestly isn't that hard. So working smarter and not harder when you're giving a massage so that you can have more fun and be more effective. And you can go in, just kind of stretch everything out and do little circles. And just making sure that arm stays nice and long and the shoulder stays relaxed. And I'm going to work my way to the opposite side. I'm just keeping my hand on my client, keeping everything connected. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with this opposite side and same routine. Just making sure that the shoulder stays down as I start to apply a little more pressure. And, I think that the worst thing you can do as a body worker is be mechanical in your work and treat every body the same. Every body is very unique. So I go into every massage with that, kind of thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and just angle Tyler's arm a little, get a better angle. I'm going to start working my way around. getting into that bicep tendon a little bit, which can definitely seize up on somebody that has whiplash. Using medium pressure here. I'm not really trying to do anything too deep yet. And I'm going to go in with more pressure now. So more than my hand, I'm really using my core, and I'm, really working from my core as much as I can. I know that if I end a massage feeling really tired, I probably wasn't doing that properly. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with my forearm a little bit. And again, you just need to make sure that you're leveraging that arm so that the shoulder doesn't move up too much. And not focusing too much on the upper arm today. And get into these extensor muscles. And you do want to make sure that the palm is laying flat. When the hand is in a fist, you don't have as easy access to the extensor muscles in the forearm. I'm starting to work my way up. And just focusing on these muscles that tend to not remember how to relax after somebody has whiplash. They can kind of just continuously grip and be really tight. And this really affects the whole rotator cuff as well. So if you're wanting to help someone with shoulder issues, working on the forearms can really help. So I'm going to start to go in with more pressure. I'm going to start to just hold, do a little trigger point. And, I am going to go in with my thumb. I find that using the heel of my hand in the forearm is the most effective way to work this area. That's also easier for me, which is not a bad thing. If you want to get kind of a better angle, you can actually angle the wrist a little bit and start to work your way in. You can also do just, if you're working on someone that is less tolerant of deeper tissue, you can just do little circles, which can feel nice. But I'm going to go in with some more trigger point here. Just getting into the belly of the muscle, and I'll start to hold little holds. And just a little bit more in here. One last hold here. And whenever I do trigger point, I don't end with that. I really like to end with something where I'm lengthening the muscles a little bit more after all that. And just something that feels nice for the hands. A really nice technique for releasing the forearm a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and open up this arm. Just a nice little technique. Get inside of that arm a little more. Get into that bicep a little deeper. So if you want the muscle a little more taut, you can straighten the arm a little bit. And just, gently encouraging that shoulder to just stay down. Oop. And I'm going to go in with my elbow, get into these pecs. And sometimes you can actually help the pecs to release a little bit by just bending the elbow. Sometimes when the arms are super straight, the pectorals aren't in the best position. I'm just going to start going in and starting at the origin and really focusing on that area. And really right now I'm just getting the sensitivity that I need in my elbow to do effective work. So not going in straight away, just really paying attention. When I'm a little more familiar, I can finally start doing that trigger point work. And really focusing on the area closest to the sternum. And I would never do this kind of work unless I really check in with my client and make sure that they're comfortable with it. It's a little trickier to do deeper pectoral work on women, but there's lots of great techniques. And sometimes it's nice to just go back and forth with different techniques, doing little circles, massaging that soft tissue, and just it's a really healthy way to work, going back and forth. And just ending with a little bit more trigger point in here. So I could end the massage there, but I really like to just end in a way where it feels like a good place to stop. So I might just walk these shoulders down one last time and call it good. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we look forward to seeing you next time.